The United States has been the unchallenged leader in global foreign aid for decades. No other nation matched the sheer scale of dollars flowing from Washington to the far corners of the world. Picture Haiti after the 2010 earthquake or Syrian refugees in Jordan. American aid was there, rebuilding homes, feeding families, and funding hospitals. It shaped global perceptions, built alliances, and projected influence. But the ground is shifting. China, a nation not even classified as a developed economy, is stepping into the spotlight. Its checkbook is open, its ambitions are global, and its investments are redrawing the map of influence. Is China poised to overtake the United States as the world's top aid superpower? Let's dive into the numbers, the strategies, and the stakes. For years, the United States stood alone as the world's largest provider of foreign aid. Data from the Organization for Economic County Operation and Development shows the United States gave over $62.33 billion in 2023 alone. That's more than any other country by a wide margin. This money fueled food programs in famine-stricken regions like Somalia, supported healthcare in sub-Saharan Africa, and rebuilt schools in war-torn Afghanistan. It wasn't just charity, it was strategy. Foreign aid has been a cornerstone of American soft power, winning hearts and minds in times of crisis. From the Marshall Plan after World War II to modern disaster relief, the United States used aid to shape global alliances and counter rival influences. Between 2013 and 2018, the United States averaged $47.7 billion annually, dwarfing competitors. This aid came as grants, meaning recipient nations didn't owe a dime back. It funded governance programs in fledgling democracies, literacy campaigns in rural areas, and medical supplies in disaster zones. The United States didn't just give money, it gave security, too, through billions in foreign military financing grants, arming allies like Israel and Egypt. This blend of humanitarian and strategic aid made the United States a global giant. China, meanwhile, was playing a different game. From 2013 to 2018, China provided $42 billion in aid, averaging just $7 billion a year. Compared to the United States, that's a drop in the bucket. But don't let the numbers fool you. China's approach was never about matching dollar for dollar. Instead, China focused on strategic investments, particularly through the Belt and Road Initiative. Between 2013 and 2022, Chinese institutions poured $679 billion into infrastructure projects across nearly 150 countries. Think gleaming new ports in Sri Lanka, high-speed railways in Kenya, or power plants in Pakistan. These projects addressed critical gaps in developing nations, where roads and electricity are often luxuries. By comparison, the United States spent just $76 billion on similar global infrastructure during the same period. China outspent the United States 9-1, building visible, tangible assets that locals could see and touch. Unlike American grants, most Chinese aid comes as loans, often tied to projects that generate revenue to repay Beijing. This makes Chinese money feel less like charity and more like a business deal, but it's a deal many countries are eager to take. Then came a seismic shift. In January 2025, newly inaugurated President Donald Trump signed Executive Order 14,169, titled Reevaluating and Realigning United States Foreign Aid. The order hit the pause button on all United States foreign development assistance programs for 90 days to conduct a sweeping review. What followed was even more drastic. The administration announced plans to dismantle the United States Agency for International Development, folding its functions into the State Department. Nearly all Agency for International Development employees were let go, and 92% of its foreign aid contracts, worth over $54 billion, were terminated. The impact was immediate and brutal. In Pakistan, the cutoff of United States funding led to plans to deport nearly 900,000 Afghan refugees, as resettlement programs ground to a halt. In Myanmar, natural disaster victims faced critical shortages of medical supplies, with international aid efforts crippled. The Trump administration argued these cuts were necessary to curb wasteful spending. With the United States economy grappling with a towering debt-to-GDP ratio, one of the highest in the world, redirecting billions to domestic priorities like infrastructure, healthcare, and border security made sense to many Americans. The 2024 budget had allocated $63.6 billion to diplomatic engagement and foreign assistance. Slashing that could free up funds for bridges in Ohio or hospitals in Texas. This was the heart of Trump's America First policy: take care of home before the world. But pulling back from the world has consequences. Foreign aid isn't just about helping others, it's about influence. When the United States steps back, others step in. In Pakistan, the deportation crisis sparked outrage, with locals and aid groups scrambling to fill the gap. In Myanmar, hospitals ran out of bandages and medicine, leaving disaster victims in limbo. These aren't just humanitarian tragedies, they're strategic losses. Foreign aid builds alliances, stabilizes fragile regions, and promotes American values like democracy and human rights. Without it, the United States risks losing ground to rivals. And no rival is seizing the moment like China. Since 2020, China has ramped up its global presence. During the COVID-19 pandemic, from 2020 to 2022, China outpaced the United States in bilateral aid related to the crisis. While the United States focused on grants for vaccines and medical aid, China shipped masks, ventilators, and loans to struggling nations, earning goodwill in places like Africa and Southeast Asia. China's Belt and Road Initiative continues to churn out projects: roads in Ethiopia, ports in Djibouti, railways in Laos, that locals associate with progress. These aren't just infrastructure, they're symbols of China's growing clout. Let's break down the difference. The United States and China approach aid like two different players in a high-stakes game. The United States acts like a development ministry, funding public goods and intangible benefits. Its aid goes to health clinics in Malawi, literacy programs in Bangladesh, and governance training in Ukraine. These are soft investments, harder to see but critical for long-term stability. The United States also spends heavily on democracy programs, something China avoids entirely. Beijing sees Western-style political liberalization as a threat, and its aid often comes with lessons on achieving development without democratic reforms. Instead, China operates like a development bank. Its $679 billion in Belt and Road projects built hard assets, highways, power grids, ports, that locals can point to and say, China built that. But there's a catch. These are mostly loans, not grants. Recipient countries must repay Beijing, often with interest, tying them to China's economic orbit. A port in Sri Lanka, for example, was leased to China for 99 years when the country couldn't repay its debts. This debt diplomacy raises eyebrows, but it's effective. Developing nations, desperate for infrastructure, often prefer China's tangible projects over the United States' focus on governance and social services. Then there's the military side. The United States is the world's largest provider of military aid, doling out billions in foreign military financing grants each year. These grants arm allies like Israel, Egypt, and Ukraine, ensuring American influence in global security. China, by contrast, plays a smaller but growing role. In 2017, when the United States Congress stalled a rifle sale to the Philippine police over human rights concerns, China swooped in with a donation of 3,000 assault rifles, free of charge. Similar donations have gone to other nations, from Cambodia to Uganda. It's a fraction of what the United States provides, but it's a signal. China is willing to step into spaces the United States leaves vacant. These moves aren't just about guns, they're about building loyalty in strategic regions. The numbers paint a stark picture. From 2013 to 2022, China's $679 billion in infrastructure investments dwarfed the United States' $76 billion. That's a 9-to-1 gap. During the COVID-19 years, China outspent the United States on bilateral aid, leveraging the crisis to boost its global image. The United States still leads in grants, money that doesn't need repayment, but China's loans are reshaping the developing world. A table comparing the two nations' aid types shows the United States excelling in humanitarian grants, while China dominates in infrastructure loans. The United States spends on health, education, and governance. China builds roads, railways, and ports. The United States promotes democracy. China sidesteps it. The United States funds security, China dabbles in it. As the United States cuts back, China's model, loans for tangible projects, is gaining traction. Developing nations, strapped for cash, see China's offer as a lifeline, even if it comes with strings. So, is China replacing the United States as the world's top aid superpower? The answer isn't simple. The United States still leads in raw dollars and humanitarian impact. Its $62.33 billion in 2023 far outstrips China's annual average. Its grants, unlike China's loans, don't burden recipients with debt. But China's strategy is winning in visibility and scale. A new railway in Kenya or a port in Pakistan screams progress in a way that a United States-funded health clinic doesn't. And as the United States pulls back, slashing $54 billion in aid contracts under Trump, China is filling the void. In Africa, Asia, and Latin America, China's projects are reshaping skylines and economies. The Belt and Road Initiative isn't just about building roads, it's about building influence. If the United States continues to retreat, China could cement itself as the go-to partner for developing nations. This shift could tilt global alliances, with countries turning to Beijing and the stakes are high because foreign aid isn't just about money, it's about power. When the United States cuts aid, it risks losing allies and destabilizing regions. Pakistan's plan to deport 900,000 Afghan refugees is a case study in what happens when aid dries up. Myanmar's medical shortages are another. These crises weaken the United States' global standing, leaving space for China to step in with loans and projects. But there's a silver lining for the United States. Its grants, focused on health, education, and governance, create goodwill that loans can't match. A hospital in Haiti funded by the United States doesn't come with a repayment plan. A school in Ghana built with American dollars doesn't tie the country to decades of debt. China's model, while flashy, often leaves nations wary of owing Beijing. The United States' focus on soft power, values like democracy and human rights, still resonates in many corners of the world. If the United States continues slashing aid, the gap will widen. China's Belt and Road Initiative shows no signs of slowing, with billions more earmarked for projects in Africa, Asia, and beyond. The United States could double down on its strengths, humanitarian grants, military aid, and democracy programs, to maintain its edge. Or it could lean into Trump's America First vision, prioritizing domestic needs over global influence. Either way, the world is watching. China's rise as an aid superpower isn't just about money, it's about reshaping global dynamics. A port in Djibouti or railway in Laos isn't just infrastructure, it's a statement. China is here, and it's playing to win. Can the United States hold its ground, or will it cede the title of aid superpower to Beijing? That's the question that will shape the next decade. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching.